A childhood game called Spot the Cat. The cackle and screams from the old crow fill my memories and my married life. How deep can you bury a memory? Can you make yourself forget of the people you have met along the way? The more I cover their faces, her face, with shovelfuls of new ideas and adventures. With each shovel, I can hear the voices I have hoped to forget. I used to struggle to write a few words. There was a time when I sit with pen and paper, hopefully wishing for something, maybe a masterpiece. Something to take me away from my earthly prison, to block out the voices and faces I still hear and see. The old crow would tell me stories, these would help me along the way, but now all I get is a word or two. Once he warned me about an old well, and told me my brother would take a tumble. Along the way he told me many other things, things I didn't understand at the time. Each story I would repeat to my mother, and each time she would sit and listen, and each time she thought I was lying or making up something, to steal a bit of her time. At that time and age in my young life, I didn't understand the concept of right now or sometime soon. After all, a day in the life of a crow is a lifetime for the fool. Tumble, tumble your little brother would go. Down, down into a pool of water he will swim. Ground, ground is where his bones would lay. Each night the crow would sing its song about my brother, the brother I didn't have, and each morning I would forget. Then one cold morning I heard the old crow say, "He's here, he's here." Little Bobby came to join our little family about 9 months after the crow told me the story the first time. Father was away, he was never home anymore. He bought this old farm, in hopes of building a family and a business for his children, but the money ran out and he had to take a traveling sales job. Selling farm equipment to other farmers, who had better luck at things than he did. Life was cruel this way, give you something then it will take part of it away and show you others doing what you wanted to do. The old farm and the weathered white house, was all that was left of his dream, and his wife and their 2 sons was reminders of that dream. Once the money got harder to make, Father took the salesman job. At first we saw him more, then less and less. From once a week to 2 times every 3 months. So it was I and Bobby, Mother, and the old crow. As Bobby would grow, he would listen to the stories the old crow had told me, as we played King of the Hill, and exploited the old farm and its mysteries. During the day, Mother would send us out to play on the other side of the farm, as she had her morning tea with Billy the milkman. Around that time of the day Mother would run into the bathroom, fix her hair and put on the brightest red lipstick she had. She would say, "You boys, go off and play, me and Billy have much to talk about." As we walked over the first hill of the farm, we would see Billy's white truck pull in. He would carry a box of milk right in for Mother. Mother warned us not to come back, if we're to see his truck. Mother could be a mean woman if she got upset in her talks with Billy and the morning tea made her happy. As always we would either play hide or seek, or a new game Bobby made up called Spot the Cat. Sometimes it was called Where's the Cat? Where there's a farm, you will find cats, large ones, bigger than city cats or the ones people keep in their homes. Our cats stayed up at the barn on the south end of the property. When the workers used to bring in the hay it would be full of rats and snakes, big old river rats. But since Father left, I guess the cats had a food shortage. So it made it a little harder to spot them. One of the local farmers, one that was doing well, had worked out a deal with Mother. He rented the old barn to store his corn. Corn that he didn't want on the books, corn that he used for other things. Back then, when a well dried up, they would go out and dig another, cover that one up and forget about it. This had been going on long before our farm was ever here. There were times they got creative. It cost more to fill a well than it was to dig one up. So they would build over the top of them. Some old houses and new ones were built right on top of a hole that goes 50 or 100 feet into the ground. Have you ever walked across old floorboards and they creaked, or does your voice echo in your house at times? More than likely, your home was built over a hole into the earth. I have seen wells goes as deep as 100 feet, and just be covered up by a few slats of wood. Father showed me one, which as far as I knew didn't have a bottom. He took a battery torch, tied a noose around the top and lowered it in. At some point the air current caused the torch to swing back and forth, causing the lamp to hit the side of the well, knocking out the lamp, as Father pulled it back up. We both found the rope to be chewed into. Something that deep, man-made, and open. Must have its own ecosystem, building, growing and eating itself. I imagine if a lot of creatures were to fall in a hole, the young would eat the old just to stay alive. Really, in that darkness, only God knows what goes on down there, in the deep. I guess what I am saying, old wells are everywhere, no one marks them on maps, and no one cares. They just cover them up and build another, forgetting about the old one and what might be down there. Little Bobby wanted to play Spot the Cat. Normally we see rats, lots of rats, but this year we hadn't seen a one, lots of cats but no rats. And with that farmer storing corn in the old barn, we figured we would see more. The cats would guard the barn in shifts, walking back and forth eyeballing strangers. Bobby ran up to the barn and was inside before I could get there. As I approached the doorway I heard him say, "I see one." At least 8 or 9 blurs of yellow and black fur darted under sacks of corn. "Where they go, where they go?" Bobby asked with a sweet boyish puzzled look on his face. He loved cats, but mother wouldn't let him have any inside. This was the closest he was able to get to one of the things he loved. We both walked over to where the cats disappeared. Beside the sacks of corn 2 sawmill boards had been knocked loose, either by the cats or the farmer when he dropped the sacks off. Bobby slid them to the side and poked his head down in the hole. I heard him whisper, "There's a basement under the barn, I can see the cats, they're all sitting in a circle, looking down, they're all talking too." When Bobby said they were all talking, whenever a cat meows, he thinks they're talking in some ancient cat dialect only a few like him can understand. If he could, I bet they would be saying, "Stay away, human." Bobby, trying to get a better look, lost his footing and fell into the basement. From the darkness I heard, "I'm okay." I asked Bobby to come out, hold on and let me find a rope or something. But he said he wanted to get a better look. I watched him crawl ever so slowly, over to the cats. They didn't seem to mind at first. "It's a hole, a deep hole full of rats," Bobby said as he peered over the side of the old well. From there things didn't make sense. Did he fall in? Was he pushed in by one of the cats? But Bobby didn't say another word. The old crow landed beside me, and picked at the corn saying, "He's gone, he's gone." After I called his name a few more times and I didn't get a response. The only sounds I could hear when I placed my ear to the hole to the basement, was the sound that rats make when they chew on paper and the sound of meowing cats. I ran back home as fast as I could. Apparently Mother and the milkman had decided to take their morning tea in the bedroom. Mother was terribly upset with me, because I came home earlier than I should have. Tears hit the floor, as I explained what had happened to little Bobby, and that he had fallen down a hole full of rats and guarded by cats. The adults went looking for Bobby, but they didn't find him, the cats or the rats. A few years later, Mother disappeared too. Father had decided to come back early one month, without telling Mother. He thought he should be home due to the loss of his son. He walked in on Mother and the milkman having tea in her bedroom. He wasn't too happy about this. This was when he set me down, and asked me to tell my story again and to show him where Bobby fell in. I figure Mother and the milkman ran off together, because a few days after Mother vanished, we got a new milkman as well. Life went on and Father raised me, the farm started to produce and we were happy again. As time passed I fell in love. I am about to get married. As I write this, the old crow shows back up again, and he has a new story to tell. The secret of the stars is gravitation. The secret of the earth is the layers of the rock. The secret of the soil is to receive the seed. The secret of the seed is the germ. The secret of the man, for he is the sower. The secret of the woman, she is the soil. My secret for you, dear boy, under a mountain there is something they never will find, for when the cats feed the rats, the cats will eat and the seeds will grow. Life and marriage is about circles. Now it's time for you to start your trip around the circle.